Alright, hello world, and I'm back with another WWDC session. This time we're watching Create Swift Package Plugins. And I already watched the previous session, which was introduction to it. So it was Meet, I think. Meet Swift Package Plugins, there you go. It was focused more on the user side. So this is more on the creation side, which is definitely something I'm very interested in. And I'm really looking forward to it. And as always, we're going to watch it together. If you want to watch it with me, make sure to prepare the video on a second device so we can watch it together. I'll be counting down from 3 and then we can click play at the same time so you can watch with me. Or if you want to skip the watch along part, just get to the end where I'm going through my notes and summarizing the session basically. All right, so let's get prepared for a watch session. Turn off the music here. And I am ready, so let's count from 3, 2, 1, go. Hi, Boris. building SwiftGen basically. The cat. they make them global? Why? Are they writing body quotes right now? Is that what they're doing? Like a mini version of it? That's interesting. What's the point they're trying to make here? All right, that was the session. Create Swift package plugins. It was quite confusing, to be honest, towards the end, but I'll be going from the start. So what did we learn? First, they started with what is a package plugin, and that there are different kinds of package plugins. First off, there is a custom command kind of plugin, and there are build command plugins. I would compare build command plugins to build scripts, basically. This is basically replacing build scripts in Xcode. And custom commands more like extensions to Swift Package Manager, more or less. They also provide a new command in Swift Package Manager, so you can use them locally and run them manually. You can run them, for example, so we have a right-click in Xcode, so that's how custom commands can be run that way. And build commands will be run on each build. So that's basically the main difference between a custom command and a build command. And generally, if you want to create one, you're creating a new plugins library folder. You're placing another target inside of it, so you can have multiple plugins. Each is basically its own folder. You have to place also everything in a package.swift file to make sure to express that you have a plugin like this here, where you have the plugin name. And you provide, basically, if you're providing a command plugin, you say command here, otherwise you can say, I'm guessing build here. And here you can specify the intent. So this is basically the button that you're getting, or the name of the Swift Package Manager subcommand. And if you need write access, you need to also explain to the current directory, you need to explain why. You only get write access to the directory where the plugin is basically being run. So you're only getting it to the working directory. You cannot run like from a package plugin something that changes something else in your system. So that's really important to know, because you might be using in your plugin third-party plugins that need to write some cache data in other places, and that's really important. So, for example, if you're running Homebrew from within your plugin, you might run into problems because Homebrew is using all kinds of places to store data and things like that. So, be aware of that, and if you can, try to provide these other tools specific paths for where they should store their caches and any kind of output files, and all of them should be inside of the working directory. Otherwise, it will not work due to sandboxing. All right, that's sandboxing. So all commands are a sandbox. You can only write into current directory. They also made an example how you can basically run a different tool and get its outputs, but they ran Git, for example, in here. And they received to run this, they started a process. So that's also interesting to see this code, how that works. You create a process, you provide it an executable URL, and then you pass the arguments. And if you want to pipe basically the output of that tool so you can read it and do something with it, you create a pipe, you say, put the process's standard output to the pipe, or you assign a pipe to it. And then you run the process and wait until the process finishes, and then everything gets piped into your standard output. And then you can basically say output pipe file handle for read data to end of file. So it's creating a temporary file, I'm guessing, and then you can read that file's contents. All right, that's basically how you can read content from if you run a specific tool. Xcode will ask, by the way, if you run it from Xcode via right-click, you can do that as well on a package. You can run your commands. It will ask for permission with the permission stuff that you have provided with the text there. Then they went on to the plugins in more detail. This is just listing different kinds of things. The build tools structure, for example, that basically says it's like a run script where we also have the executable input-output. Types of build tool plugins, inbuilt and pre-built. And inbuilt basically is if you have a clear set of outputs, you should use inbuilt. And if you don't have a clear set of outputs, you should use pre-built. I didn't quite get it, to be honest, the difference here. But the one thing that definitely differentiates, if your tool takes longer, you should definitely use inbuilt, because pre-built should be really fast. And I'm assuming pre-built is like if you can't use inbuilt, only then you should go for pre-built, because maybe you're creating new files in inbuilt, and because it's not happening before the build, new files are not being recognized, and that doesn't work. So if you don't know what the output files will be, I think that's when you need to go into pre-built. So you're adding new files basically. But I'm guessing if you're just changing the contents of an existing file, I'm guessing that inbuilt will also work, but I have to try that out. Their example was for inbuilt, I don't quite remember, but I think they just created a very simple one here. And yeah, this is the things they basically ran a tool that they wrote themselves. So they created a command line tool and they ran that command line tool in the inbuilt command, more or less. That's what they did here. And you need to conform to build tool plugin when you have a build tool command. If you have a command plugin, you're specifying, you conform it to a command plugin, and they have different requirements. And to make a plugin available to clients of a package, you need to add it to the products in the Swift package manifest file. That's basically my summary of it. I really don't have the difference between inbuilt and pre-built. I'm really sorry for that. So if you have that difference, make sure to comment it down below. And that's my summary of Create Swift Package plugins. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe for more content like this. I'm going to be watching Discover a Benchmark in App Analytics next, right after a quick break, so I'll be right back and see you around. Bye.